Good morning, Kenny. Well, sadly, it is no surprise. Relations between Australia and Israel on the Foreign Minister's watch and on the Albanese government's watch have hit its lowest ebb in decades. And it is very unfortunate that we are reading through the media about strained phone calls between the foreign ministers of our two countries. Let's remember that Israel is one of Australia's closest international partners. Outside of the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance members, Israel is one of our most important intelligence and security partners. They have repeatedly shared intelligence with Australia, which has thwarted terrorist attacks on our own soil here domestically, and which has also helped save the lives of Australian Defence Force personnel serving in the Middle East. So to have allowed it to get to as bad as it is a very bad reflection on the Albanese government and their diplomatic skills. No, it's frankly far too late, and this is another important international relationship that the Albanese government and Penny Wong have mismanaged. We obviously rightly closed our embassy immediately following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, when it was uncertain whether Ukraine would be able to continue to control Kiev. But after it became apparent that they were able to do so and repel Russia's initial invasion, we should have immediately reopened the embassy, as our many like-minded partners did, including Canada, with whom we are a co-tenant in the same building in Kiev. They reopened their embassy in May 2022. President Zelensky has been privately urging the Australian government to do this for some time. He publicly urged them to do so in February 2023. So has the opposition. Simon Birmingham, our Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister, was there in August, and he promised that a Dutton government would reopen the embassy in Kiev. It should not have taken this long. We're now well behind our allies and friends, over 70 of whom have reopened their embassies in Kiev.
Australia's relationship with Israel has reached its lowest point in decades under the leadership of Foreign Minister Penny Wong and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Reports have surfaced about a strained phone call between the foreign ministers of both nations. Shadow Home Affairs and Cybersecurity Minister James Paterson expressed his concern over this decline in bilateral ties, emphasising that Israel is one of Australia's most important international partners outside the Five Eyes Alliance. Israel has historically shared vital intelligence with Australia, helping thwart domestic terrorist threats and saving the lives of Australian Defence Force personnel in the Middle East. This significant partnership is now under strain, reflecting poorly on the Albanese government's diplomacy. Australia has decided to reopen its embassy in Kiev, Ukraine, which was closed following Russia's invasion in 2022. While the move is welcomed, Paterson criticised the delay, stating that it should have happened much earlier. Many like-minded nations, including Canada, reopened their embassies in Kiev by May 2022. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged Australia to expedite this reopening for over a year. Even Simon Birmingham, Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister, pledged to reopen the embassy during his visit in August 2023, highlighting how overdue this decision is. Over 70 nations have reopened their embassies in Kiev, and Australia's delayed response has made it an outlier among its allies. The Albanese government is reviewing the funding model for think tanks such as the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, ASPI. The VESI review proposes subjecting think tanks to competitive funding processes, raising concerns about the potential chilling effect on independent research. ASPI was established to provide policy contestability in defence and national security. If its core funding becomes subject to a tender process, it risks undermining its financial stability and independence. According to Paterson, think tanks could become hesitant to critique government policies, fearing funding cuts. Another controversial proposal involves shutting down ASPI's Washington, D.C. office, which has been pivotal in strengthening Australia's relationship with the United States. This decision could significantly downgrade Australia's influence in Washington at a critical juncture in global geopolitics. The Albanese government's strained relationship with the Trump administration and some key U.S. appointees has raised concerns about Australia's diplomatic standing. ASPI's role in projects like AUKUS and its contributions to Australia-US relations are crucial. Closing the D.C. office would weaken these efforts and Australia's ability to shape U.S. policy on shared interests. In 2020, China issued a list of 14 grievances against Australia, including ASPI's government funding. Paterson argues that curtailing ASPI's funding could be seen as capitulating to Chinese demands, which may have far-reaching implications for Australia's policy community. ASPI has conducted critical research exposing human rights abuses against Uyghur people in Xinjiang, cyber attacks, and foreign interference operations targeting Australia. These efforts have garnered international recognition, including support from the United Nations and human rights organizations. Paterson posed a vital question to the Albanese government: which aspects of ASPI's research would they have preferred not to occur? Cutting or reducing funding for independent think tanks sends a dangerous message about the government's priorities and willingness to suppress critical information. That's all for today on Aussie Pulse. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on Australia's political and international landscape. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.